Hey, welcome. How you doing? Let's see. Welcome to a new live stream. My name is John Skippy Limcool. We're enjoying some retro moment because Retrosphere is out. Oh, I need to try to do things all at once. I hope you all are doing well. Halloween was really fun. Let's see here. Get this to show up. Hello, Omnisphere. Let's see, let's make it a little bit bigger interface. Oh, 1.2. There we go. Well, I need to have show MIDI showing here, right? Audio units, show MIDI. Bigger, 1.65. Yeah, here we go. Now let's see. Let me turn on the music a little bit. Feels like I'm working out or something. So how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let me see what's going on in the chat. We haven't gone there yet. Good day. Hey, Big E, you're gonna love this. I sing today. I'm gonna share something I very rarely thought I would ever share. Never thought I would share, actually. Aluminum straw, or a steel straw, or whatever it is. Use it over and over again so I don't have to throw straws away. I have some interesting stuff to show you guys today. There's a really cool couple plugins that have been introduced to me. Hey Shane, welcome. Coxa, welcome. Cox is in Singapore? It's like 3 in the morning or something, right? You are crazy, man. You are crazy, but your patches are incredible. He has some really nice patches in the Retrosphere library, by the way. If you go to the bonus library to authors, we'll just point this out. These, let's see, let's stop the music and let's turn off all that stuff there. We're gonna go through this whole library a little bit more in depth because it's so cool, and it's $29 until tomorrow night. So I want to make it really clear that if you want, I love this one. That's so sick. And he did a texture as well, which I think I used this. Didn't I use it like on Halloween night? I did a song and I used a spooky. Really cool. So there's over 30, I lost count. All of these people made patches for this library, and you all deserve, you've all gotten the libraries you've requested. Like I said, everybody that submitted patches gets a library of their choice. So we almost have everybody, all orders complete. So thank you again for contributing to that. In reverse order, the last 4 releases you have done. I have a small bet with a producer in LA, and we promised each other we wouldn't reverse engineer by way of YouTube. Well, let's see. There's Retrosphere, Mega Magic Violins. Was it OMG Urban? I'd have to look at YouTube myself because memory is not my forte. It's one of my Achilles heels, is I don't remember details very far back, but and what else before that? I don't recall. I would have to look. There's a couple ways I would look. I could look here. Well, you'll have to figure that out and settle your bet there. I don't want to try to do that in the live stream right now, but hi, Harold. Yes, it's 2:05 a.m. in Thailand. Lovely, lovely. Well, so glad you guys are all here. So welcome. So we're going to look at, I showed it on the Halloween live stream, another, oh, I need to turn off notifications. That's one thing I always forget. Stuff pops up that, you know, Facebook and other, it's just like, go away, leave me alone, too much noise. And is Tequila here? Tequila is my girlfriend's little chihuahua, and she's running around, and I left the door open a crack because she keeps coming in and out, and I don't want her to be barking at me or something like that. So also, I've got some other things to show you as well. I have come up with a pretty amazing guitar sound. Check this out. I won't show you how I did it yet, but so I'll show you how I created this, and I'll actually play a song that uses it along with stuff, and me singing, because we're going to be showing Nectar. iZotope released and sent me an NFR to download and try out, and it's really cool, and I use it on my voice, and I'll show you how it works. It actually will, this new generation of effects are interesting. This effect, you play the audio, and it will analyze it, and it will do all sorts of things to find the optimum things needed for the vocal track. And it will work in tandem with other iZotope software, which is really cool to have inner plugin communications between different plugins going on. That's kind of a cool additional thing going on. Also, Clevgrand has released a new reverb that's like $29 or $39 called Cleverb. And let's see here. If I was to, let's see, I could put this on my voice really quick so you could hear what it sounds like. Here we go, Cleverb. Now we have reverb on our voice. And let's change it from mono to stereo. So it's stereo. Test, test. 1, 2. And it's got small, medium, large. There's a lot of cool parameters, including modulation. So you can modulate the voice. Really nice on pads. EQ. I'll show you more of this in a bit. We'll put it on like a drum loop or something like that, or synth pad, stuff like that to work with. So there's a lot to cover. So where should we start? What do you guys want to see first? Hey, cool. Hey, Gareth, everybody. Good to see you guys. It's like our weekly get together, our play date. It's really fun. So let's start with Retrosphere. What the heck? So this library is done. When you get the full version of the library, here's how it comes now. There's the artwork, there's the README PDF, which talks about installation, how things work, stuff like that. Oh, everybody wants to see Nectar. Okay, so maybe Mega Magic Cello was the 4th. Well, no, that was farther back in time. That because there's cello. I'm thinking about the Big E questioning it. Big E, you can't do that to me. Anyway, just let me cover this really quick. So the full version of Retrosphere has two different Omnisphere files. There's plugin Retrosphere Volume 1, which is the full library with my patches and the stock core patches. And then inside of the Guru Nation bonus retro library, there is another .omnisphere file. You in the live stream at Halloween, I explained, and I'll show you again real quickly. Once you've installed these, you might end up with 3 libraries: the ER library, the full library, and the bonus library. And you can find your Steam folder. And I also showed in the live stream how you can click and drag if you're on the Mac to put the Steam folder over here to quickly get to it, so you can get to it quickly. Because data management and management of files and stuff is getting to be a little bit more important because there's so much stuff. Like this is a place called the Guru Work in Progress out. I just put libraries I don't want Omnisphere to look at. I put them into this folder, and it's above the settings folder, so it's here. And this way it doesn't get scanned. And then in Sound Sources user, you might have like 2 or 3 different Retrosphere libraries now. You can delete all of them except for the Retrosphere Volume 1 after you've installed the full libraries, because this contains all the samples that the other versions of the library use. And then when you go to your settings library to patches, you can delete the Retrosphere ER because those patches are here inside of Retrosphere Volume 1, plus the patches that I've made. And then the bonus is all the patches that Guru Nation, all you guys that did the programming and sent them to me, they are found here. So once you've done that, you would go to Omnisphere. There's a couple of different places. There's 3 places. There's patches that you can refresh the browser. One reason I don't have all the libraries all the time is when you refresh the browser, it has to check every patch. And when it gets to samples, it gets to be a huge number of samples. And if I'm not accessing that library and I'm building libraries, when I hit checking sound sources and have it scan it, it can take a really long time. When you're installing new libraries, if you have a whole lot of libraries, it takes longer for it to install them sometimes because it's got to write the index at the end of the list. And it goes through the list before it writes a new index every time. There's no multis in this library, so the other place is to go here to the sound source browser. It says it at the top when you click. You have a layer, you hit sample, so it says sample, and then you hit the folder right here, and there's a refresh button here. After you refresh these, you might have to quit your DAW, restart it, and then everything will show up to date with directory locations can't actually be added and removed while the app is running. It needs to quit and then reload itself to recheck the directories, it seems. So that it can't do that in real time as of 2.5. Maybe in the future it will, I don't know. And now you would have where you have the Retrosphere Volume 1 library, which has, let's see, where am I at? In here, so. As well as all the JL patches, my humble offerings, and then the bonus is where you find everybody else's amazing patches, all the BPM bells. We'll go through this later. You guys want to see Nectar first, so I will respect that, and we will close this for the moment. And let's see, we need to mute this because that was here. So I wrote a song. The elections here in the United States are a big deal, and I'm fairly political. I'm very much into trying to make things fair for everybody. It's more where my heart is. I wouldn't do library videos and plugin videos and put them for free if I wasn't more of that type of a mindset. But I just want everybody to participate. I hope everybody that's in the States that sees this will go vote. Whatever your opinion is, the more people's opinion makes it just that much more what the vote should be. And so I wrote a song that I'm going to get to a couple friends in LA to work on the vocals. But I had a sore throat. And I could sing and it sounded fairly good, which usually when I sing, I'm not too happy with my voice. So I kept it, believe it or not. This has me singing. It's a song called Change the Weather. And so I'll play this first so you can hear the song. It's really cool. I love where the song goes and stuff. And then just grab this. Is Holly... One second, please. There. So here is this track, and it uses guitar, it uses Super Macho drums, it uses Retrosphere, and it uses some other contact libraries. And the thing that started this, I'll show you this, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but the thing that started this was this, which is a bass sound I made for the Waldorf Retrosphere library that's coming, using my Waldorf Pulse. And this thing, I tell you, man, whoo! And so I started with that, and I did some cool tricks with it, which I'll show you after I play the song. But here, I'm going to mute my voice and play the song. So here's, and then we're going to add Nectar to the voice to let you hear how I can make it sound better. But here we go. Yeah. So I love this track. I want to do a whole record of this kind of stuff. I love techno, I love dance, I love all sorts of things, but I also love Radiohead and Daniel Lanois, as someone said. You know, all that stuff is really fun. And I love music that kind of like goes places and stuff. So, yeah, thank you. So to start with, this song started with the bass, and I actually recorded, let's see, if I open up one track of this, I think it has, let's see if I open up the sample editor over here. Where's the bass? I think here. No. Here it is. That's the retro demo. The thing I did is this. I record, here they are. It's recorded from one pass. I do this a lot of times because a lot of times you want to have something that has, oh, let's see, go over here and hit play. So I just play, and I'm like playing with knobs, changing the sound of it. Because there's so much personality to the Waldorf Pulse. So I just let it record the same thing. Then here's where it got to the bright part, which I use later on in the song. Right? So I have all this stuff that I can go places with from one audio recording. So instead of that way, I can now take and I chop it into little pieces, then I put pieces where I want it to be. If you listen here, it goes, it's playing this part here. Yeah, that's in the, like the breakdown when it gets really bright. So it plays this again. Then the next time, it plays this section. So it gives it life that the bass. Change the weather. Right? Now the guitar. You guys are gonna crack up and die when you see what the guitar is. It's Contact 5. It's a sample library that comes with Contact 5. It's not even some third-party library you have to buy. If you own Contact 5, it's the jazz guitar. Because jazz guitars have this wonderful warm tone. Which, when you put through distortion, as we learned when I did Mega Magic Guitars 2, the clean Strat and the jazz stuff is what made the awesome distorted rock guitar patches that I came up with. In Guitar Rig, you call up a preset called Clean Cave. Don't have to do anything to it. It's just down here in the list. I don't even know where it's... Is it... Clean... There's Clean Citrus. Somewhere I found Clean Cave. And so I loaded that up and... It's amazing. And then I added Mega Magic Guitars Volume 2. Actually, this is Mega Magic Guitars Volume 1, but the Mega Magic 2, just a little bit. So you have that, and the bass. Let's see if we just solo these. Let's just solo these parts so you can hear. Let's see. This, and this, and this solo. Look at the factory instruments, you guys. My gosh, you don't have to go out and buy. You're not recording the Waldorf as MIDI with lots of CC. No. I like to, because it can not work in the future. Maybe the patch goes away. Usually when I'm working with outboard gear, I always record the source into my sequencer so that I have it. It also means anytime I hit play, it starts to play, it starts to do its thing. Hey, Izzy, we're playing with a song where I sing, and we're going to show Nectar 3 in a minute and how it can make my vocals, which are okay, sound even better. But that's the main heart of the thing. And then for the groove, I have, let's see here, turn off solo. It starts with Super Macho drums doing a simple just, and I have it going through all to verb. And that along with, I love Drum Lab. Of all the stuff that comes with Kontakt, one of the things I probably use the most is Drum Lab. A friend of mine did this library that's on Facebook. I don't know if I've met him in person or not, but it's just the... And what's nice with this and what's unique is that you have an interface that has 2 layers, and you can change the layers as well as parameters and effects and so forth for the layers for the kick, snare. Same for the toms. It's just really nicely recorded. The source, there's additional percussion stuff which I didn't use. And then the third part that really makes this work is from a library from another company that I love very much, Sonic Coacher. Those guys used to actually work for Yamaha. Have created this thing called Concrete, which has just all sorts of crazy samples in it. Let's see if I go solo here. It sounds like I'm hearing it. Oh, but I got channels and I need to turn on this channel. This is the Gozheng 2 kit. And it's these samples that just... And it just worked really, really well with Super Macho drums. So they're repetitive. And then the trick to making a track sound like a band is to do a track where you're playing live and you do overdubs, you do fills, you don't do the same thing. So here there's tom fills every now and then. Right? When we get to the big breakdown parts, so you have to think like a drummer. You got 2 hands, you got your feet, you have skins, you have to picture your hi-hat parts. I've played drums since I was a kid, so I know drum programming really well. That's why I love drums so much. Know when to do ride cymbal stuff. I mean, this is all from listening to music and then copying what they do on songs. Go, oh, when they go to that part of the song, I need to do this, you know, type of thing. So here's the drums that are going in that part. Okay? And then Retrosphere is used to do some cool things. I found a really cool patch. I should turn off latch because I have the part that I want. When you're done recording automation, make sure you turn latch back to read. This is using Living Saga, which is doing a pulsing. I actually modified the patch a little bit. And I also modified Calling Apollo a little bit. And then this is called Twinkle 2 from BDS. Who is that? I haven't memorized everybody's names. Oh, BDS. Okay. I don't know if BDS is here or not, but yeah. Box of Tricks is great. Sonic Coacher is a company you should know about if you love sample libraries and you need stuff kind of out of the box. It really can enhance the production to have some of those types of sounds, and they do that very well. Love those guys. So on Retrosphere, the Twinkle, I turned off the delays. There were 2 delays on each of the 2 layers, and they were cool. I'll show you what it sounded like with them, and then I'll show you why I turned them off. So if we like take this guy and solo it, and in the main part where I played. So when you play this in the mix with the delays on, there's just this cacophony from the delays. I mean, by itself, it's cool. But usually in a mix, you'd strip delays, you strip reverbs, usually unless they're really important. Especially if you're going to have a lot of stuff going on, because you only want it to be more focused. The more focused and the less. That's why it's tricky. A lot of people love to just put automatic delays on every patch in a synthesizer plugin, and I'm like, that's suicide. Because that means somebody has to go through and turn off delay on every sound before they can use it in an actual music production for most cases. Because usually you turn off the delays, and then you'll add delay back in if it fits, you know? So delay is one of those things you don't want to lean on and put on every patch, or else you're just making it extra work for people that actually use this in music productions. So don't do that if you do. But without it, it changes it into becoming this really cool. Let's see, let's go right here. So here's the 3 parts. So there's part 1, which is, let's see, part 1 here is Living Saga, which is a... And I made it longer, and I added the filter so that it, and that's simply done by bringing down the filter low and then showing the modulation of the LFO2, and LFO2 synced to 8th notes. And then I have mod wheel also assigned for the wheel, so I can bring this up. And the way it works, when you have this down, you have pulsing. It's coming up somewhere up to the middle of this knob and pulsing. When you have the filter cutoff brought up above that, the pulsing goes away. It just gets lost because the filter's all the way open now. So I use that. When I get to the big pad part, there's no pulsing. So by using those together, I can do stuff like this. And then the third part, I should show you real quick, is just another brighter. It's this one that has this cool growth to it. And I just made the envelope a little longer. I added reverb to it. I brought up the EQ a little bit. So I wanted to really sizzle. In fact, I'd probably maybe put distortion or something like this on the final, but here's just the growth of the 3 Retrosphere patches, how they work so nicely. That's where it's like all out, right? Right? But these guys are just sitting there adding just additional like interesting chords. And then here's another trick. Here's another good trick. This line right here that's playing on that twinkle sound, that's the bass line. Up 2 octaves, I believe. I transposed it. So it's playing the same thing. If I was to go over here and solo the bass. Oh, wait. Get my key commands right. So here and here. So it's doubling the bass, and it's really bright. So you got just this really cool mix of things happening, but I'm keeping it really focused. You don't want too many parts. The bass, the other busy part becomes a duplication of the bass part. But you might not notice that, but it just enhances this part in a cool way, okay? And for Super Macho drums, it's basically just the Future Bass kit and then I took and I would the kick is here, and the snare I'm using the noise shot. Just a little bit of it with the ER, the actual convolution reverb, a little bit shorter than it normally is. Okay, so that's the instrumentation used. 3 Retrosphere tracks, Mega Magic guitar, the jazz guitar through guitar rig for the guitar sound, which is just... I mean, it's amazing. You can play... It sounds so convincing. I had a couple friends come over and listen. They're like, who's playing guitar? That's really great. And it's like, it's me on the keyboard. They're like, no. It's like, yeah. Yep. All right, so the singing. Check this out. We'll use Nectar 3 now. Here's how it sounds with my singing. Okay. So, I mean, and I had a cold too, so I've got 2 different compressors, Echo Boy and Reverb. See, the idea is that I'm doing the melody, but I don't know exactly what it's going to say yet. Change the weather. The UAD compressor just did a nice rounding of it. Kind of squashes it really hard, as you can see, because that's a popular thing to do for vocals. You compress it so that it becomes full and saturated. And then I used the Logic Pro compressor because it's so kind of rude, and it gave it a presence. I needed to pop out of the mix a little bit more. Echo Boy. Change the weather. Kind of gives it this vintage kind of a vibe. Then I have just a little bit, like 18. Change the weather. If you use the RC, I love the random hall far more than the other just normal hall. So now let's do this. Let's take the echo. Change the weather. Let's see what Nectar will do to this. So let's go over here to Isotope, Nectar 3. This is just released, and it's really interesting. They have this assistant now, and I think that they're doing this with more and more of their stuff. They also have presets, so you can click here to pop up presets, and they have Nectar 2 Legacy presets. They have things for music. You can use this in lots of different ways, not just for vocals. But the vocal thing that it can do is really interesting. If you hit Vocal Assistant, you can say, I want you to assist me. It's going to listen to your audio and create a custom preset based on what it hears from your vocal track, right? So you say, next, how do you want it to do it? Intensity, let's just leave it in the middle. Kind of, I don't want vintage. Now let's keep it like this, see what it does. So I'm going to hit next. So now we play audio. So, and it analyzes. Oh, wait. Change the weather. And it adds all these possible effects that it needs. Nothing's gonna change forever unless you change the weather. Change the weather. People gonna come into the band and find the better. So here's without us. People gonna come into the band and find the better. I find it to be a little tame, which is nice. I mean, change the weather. I tend to do more punching of things, but it has pitch correction, which I could turn on. You could turn on strength.
Nothing's gonna change forever unless you change the weather.
You can even shift it if you want to have the...
Change the weather.
If you want to be different sounding, which maybe I definitely...
Change the weather. Change the weather.
So you have things to play with to change the voice if you want to do more of the hip-hop kind of crazy things. Let's put it back to 0, turn this off. Let's see what it sounds like in the mix compared. Let's see here. Let's start at 9. Come here. Let's turn off correction so it's not doing that right now.
Change the weather.
What's going on with the timing is... Here's without it. Let's see. Come on. It definitely made it cleaner. Made it pop up a little bit. You could go into dialogue or cleanup. So I think there's some reasons to have a plugin like this that can do things like this. I think it's helpful. They did upgrade some things in it. Can you do what you are about to do with Nectar 2? Oh, the side window in Omnisphere. Yeah, that's a right click. And there any parameter that's set up with the little blue light, that means something is modulating it. If you go over here to show modulation and say wheel, then it will show you what that is over here. And this area is usually showing patches. But once you've gone into assigning a parameter, you can say show, or if you assign a parameter, let's say I have velocity, control this, boom. This confirms that that has been assigned, and now you have the ability, it always sets it to a 50% strength. You can make it stronger or weaker. So that's how that works. And then right click again and say unmodulate. I don't know the Nectar products all that well. They sent it to me and said if you wanted to do a little video on it, that'd be really helpful. So I just wanted to point out that this is here. As you can see, it added all sorts of things, and now you could play with these parameters and like customize it to what you really wanted it to sound like, maybe a little bit more radically. For me, that's probably what I would do, is like, you know, make up
change the weather.
Let me get my effects back on the night because I like those.
Think you got a monopoly on it, I'll be
you can add saturation.
Nothing's gonna change forever unless you change the weather.
That sounds nice. So now that's without. I think it's better with, for sure. I mean, there's so much control here. You've got EQ, pitch, compressor, de-esser. Here's all the different effects. Harmony. If you wanted to, you could say, wow, how many voices? Pitch correction. Let's...
Think you got a monopoly on it, I'll be gonna change forever unless you change the weather.
Let's see, it's having up and down.
Change the weather. Change the weather.
I mean, I like messed up vocals, so.
Change the weather. You've got to change the weather.
And you could add more.
The storms are coming hard and long, and nothing's gonna stop them from coming. The sadness in their eyes are gonna last them out.
Cool. I like that.
We're all the same, we got to realize it's all together.
Okay, so there's a.
Nothing's gonna change forever unless we change the weather.
Cool. I like that a lot. So I didn't even know it had that, but harmony as well as pitch correction, as well as, I mean, it's pretty dope what it can do. So that's one of the effects I wanted to show that came out this last week, I believe. The other one, let's add a little clev verb to this. See what that sounds like. So if we were to bring this down in the wick mix. So.
Change the weather. We're gonna come and turn the bad and find the better.
Let's kill all the other reverb.
Change the weather.
So here's just clever.
Think you got a monopoly on it? I'll be thumping like a butter.
Bring some dampening.
Nothing's gonna change forever unless you change the weather.
So that's quite a different vocal track.
Change the weather.
I like that.
Change the weather. Change the
Yeah,
weather.
you're welcome, Big E. Dig in.
You've got to change the weather.
It's really cool stuff. Isotopes, that nectar is really cool what it can do. This is really cool too, and it's like $39, I believe, on their site. So let me point out the sites real quick. If you're interested in the Isotope plugin, isotope.com, products, nectar, you can get there from their main page. You know, what you're looking for, products, go here, and they have. But Neutron, check this out. It has the ability, if you have Neutron, to do other stuff that I don't have Neutron, so I wasn't able to test this out. But when you're going over to the vocal assistant, you can say unmask, and it will like work with Neutron to clean the mix so that your vocal is even more in the center of the mix. It's really interesting that they have the ability to work. And if it finds a source, it will tell you right here that it's found a source. Nectar 3 relay or another compatible isotope plugin to a track. So if I added Nectar 3, what the heck? Let's try it. So let's bring this. I have a limiter from FabFilter. It's really good. Let's add Nectar 3 here. And by doing that, all of a sudden my vocal track has unmask. So let's say unmask, but don't do vocal assist because I like what my vocal, this plugin's doing, right? Select a source, stereo out, Nectar 3, next. Okay, measure 9.
We're gonna come and turn the bad and find the better. And change the weather.
So it's set up, compression.
You got a monopoly on it, I'll be thumping like a butter. Nothing's gonna change.
Oh, maybe it should be over here. If I go here and say unmask.
Change the weather.
Let's do it the other way around.
Change the weather. Change the weather.
No significant masking
Change the
dead.
weather.
So it didn't need, it's cleaning up, I guess, maybe, or something.
Hard and long and nothing's gonna stop them from coming. Sadness in their eyes.
Did add compression. So they, as you can see, they can find each other and talk to each other, which is cool, to kind of help get you going. It seems to be a little on the conservative side. I'm one that likes to push plugins kind of to their extreme. So yeah, it's you know, you give me Nectar and it's gonna go from
People gonna come and turn the bad and find the
to that. But it still sounds really good, doesn't it?
Man, change the weather.
And that's with octave up and like or it's like 3 octave up and 1 octave down, and all the other stuff I've done to it. So, okay.
Think you got a monopoly on it? I'll be thumping like a butter.
Anyway, cool stuff. Good job, Isotope. Good stuff. All right. So, any questions about what I've shown so far? Yeah, kind of dire straits a little, but you know, I found Isotope useful and solid for working faster, but for working in incredible detail and control, Melda production suite. Ah, interesting. Add some T-Pain to your Reddit. Yeah, right? You almost could do that. The pitch correction, I think, will go that radical if you want it to. So, good stuff. All right, let's get this up. Let's play with Retrosphere a little bit, and we'll call it a day. I'm going to go see Free Solo in a little bit. That guy is so inspiring. I've seen a TED Talk from him. This guy that free climbed El Capitan without ropes and did it in like 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that. Most people take multiple days. I've watched YouTube videos of people that are like with ropes, and it takes them multiple days, and at some points they're like, ah, and they just let go and fall, and the rope catches them. I just can't imagine. These people are like multiple times for one, and this dude just went up the whole thing nonstop. So I gotta see the movie. I love inspiring stuff like that. So Retrosphere came out so great. There's so much usable, beautiful, bright, lush, cool. This is from the bonus. Let me cover real quickly just the full library. So we've talked about great basses. Then I made some other. This looks so cool with the dance thing. Sounds very 80s. Okay. Stranger Kids. That's based right on from one of the tracks from the soundtrack. And Vintage and Pissed is no velocity to anything. Nice analog bells. And if you want to get these into a unique character real quickly, the ring modulator is really handy. And change the wave shape. And then you always have control of depth, which is nice with this, so that you can have. Now you have like this broken quality to it. But it's nice. FM is going to do more overall shaping. But it can also be really nice. But the range in between of depth is actually the strength of FM, so it changes harmonics in this. You don't find that with ring modulation. It's really nice. It just makes it stronger or less. So what's fun with this is you can right click on this and modulate it with the velocity. Or go over here and say, no, I want it to be the wheel, and now I'm able to control in real time with the wheel. So the ring modulator on any of these patches is going to give it immediately different. Turn on ring. Go down here to the edgy waves. These are really nice to. And this is without boost, and you add boost. And if you want an attack, here's one more trick, and then we'll keep going in the library. Go modulate and choose like the filter envelope. So you can go to the filter envelope and right? So now you have a cool unique attack coming from this. Here's without it. And just a little bit. Just to bring out a little bit more to cut through the mix. So the ring modulator is a friend for retro kind of sounds. Like that. Short bell. And for this one, the friend is the wave shaper, because over here is your sample rate. And again, there's a mix. So using these different effects that are part of Omnisphere, these guys are really handy with these clean samples. So take them to different places really easily without having to use, you're not going over to the effects section and using stuff there. These are basically preset effects that you can call up that will do cool things to the sounds. And something like this that's got an attack, you can always go past the attack or just a little bit of the attack. Hold down shift so you can go by single percentages. That might be more appealing in your track than the full-on hard-on and the hard attack. Okay, here's some BPM stuff. The library, by default, doesn't have any BPM things in it, so these are all things I created. Okay. Chords. These, to me, anything that plays that has a fifth or something besides the main root tone is a chord. So, okay, then there's cool effects. Again, any of these through the different effects that you have here, the wave shaper in particular, the crusher. Change the color with the crush force. And bring down the mix so maybe it's not full. There's so much to play with this. Okay, the guitars. I could combine that. I didn't do this, but it'd probably be. Take it up an octave so it's in the same range and a little more release. Yeah, why not? It could work. I'd probably program it more with more velocity control, a couple other things. Okay, then you got some cool hits. Using random on pitch, so each time you play it, this one sound, hold down Command and click this to solo A. Playing the same note, I'm getting all sorts of different pitches. Okay, keyboard stuff with clavinets. Get down for profit. Pianos. Distraught. There's so many keyboard sounds that are nice. The Oberheim is really nice for those types of sounds. Okay. Rainio is nice. Just got this cool rumbly effect to it, which is great. Okay. Space piano. Cool leads. Some of these are composites. This is one using 4 layers, which I rarely do. But for a lead, it's one note. You're not going to play chords with it, although you can. Some of these I kept them polyphonic instead of mono. But you could also make it solo. Turn on glide. If you want to do your vintage. Do stuff like that. Then pads, and there's so many pads and so many, God, it goes all over the place. So from start video game moments, Guinevere is nice. I'm no angel, octaves, and so many nice things. Mel. From a single sample. It's really nice. Okay, so it goes on and on. Some more monophonic-y. Synth is the more the attacky. Lots of nice brassy things. And if you don't want the brassy quality, let's go. Oh, I'm still in. I've been playing through patches. Let's see, this is supposed to be called like that, yeah. How funny. It should reset solo when you change patches, I would think, but I guess. No, it doesn't. They'll probably fix that. That it should reset solo. That's generally the rule of thumb, but you know, it's Captain America is a big layered thing I did with 3 layers. Show that. It's really fun. So as you can see, there's a lot here. Just and then you go to the second library that comes with this, the Guru Nation library, which is 242 additional patches. And they go so cool. Very cool. This is where people made patches combining Omnisphere's other existing samples with the rule of thumb when making these patches is it has to include at least one layer of Retrosphere. So everything here has Retrosphere. Might be 2 layers of Retrosphere. The next patch, another programmer used 2 layers of Retrosphere. Awesome. Cool. You guys got it down. It's more impressive if you're just using the samples from this library, because then it sounds different. But here's one where it's using a Retrosphere synth, the Res down bass, with the Martin acoustic guitar with waveforms and some noise. Some little rock and roll get down. So bells. Bell voices. Because Halloween's going on, some of these patches are going to be, you know, the idea was to like make sounds from movies that you love, horror movies, horror shows. The BPM arps and basses and stuff just go all over the place. There's a lot to learn in these patches. You guys have come a long ways, man. That's perfect. Dancey stuff. Right on, ESC and Bernie. Right on. Ooh, ho, ha, 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 ha. Good evening from Chile, UK. This is a cool patch in that there's, hear how it's doing this repeated thing? How's it doing that, right? Well, it plays the message, it plays it once, and then I think its Lonely Drifter has a delay that's set to 2 times. So it waits a long time at 100% mix before this part plays. If we took this down, then this drifter patch would play at the same time. But by setting it to +2, and then there's another part that's at a half measure, so you might not notice it, but it's very subtle, but oh, I thought that was a different part. I thought it was a synth part. But it's very clever. Having the delay, that's one of the advantages of having the ability to put effects per layer. One layer can have a really long delay on it, so it like repeats itself while the others don't. So cool stuff like that can be done. I actually had my premiere with making patches for Guru Library this time. Hey, yeah, Mike, you're in it. Congratulations. So that's what's fun. I mean, I'm all about empowering you guys, man. I mean, I sell patches because you can't get enough inspiring patches, but I also want everybody to be comfortable programming these different synthesizers. So giving you an opportunity is something I never thought I could do either, but because of how easy it is to communicate and for collating everything, and my assistant Taylor helps me get everything together in one place and put it together, it's possible. So we can do this kind of fun stuff from time to time. So That way we can play Pumpkin Runner. Yeah. Makes me want to go chasing pumpkins. Abrasive. Cool. Midnight Live. Cool. Right on, Clark. I have to give props to the ESC, the European Sound Collective. That there's quite a few people involved in that. If you go to author and just hit ESC, these were all patches made. These guys, in early 2019, they're going to release a library that's going to blow you guys away. But so many of them computed. I'm just cool stuff. So a good number like 68, 70, something of the patches are ESC. Please make sure you check them out, and props to all you guys. Thank you for many of them actually make libraries and sell them on their own sites. So it's really generous and kind that they are a part of all this stuff that we do. I mean, that's really inspiring. It's very wonderful. So thank you. Kind of an accordion-esque drone wisp. And you know what I love? This is what's so cool, is everybody approaches synthesis and sound, and I hear the sound form, I use this waveform, and I go, I can hear it going here. Somebody else will hear the same sound and hear it going there. And so, by giving you guys a handful of sounds to work with, you guys have been all over the place. There's nothing that sounds identical in this library by anybody. That's one reason why I was going through this and I was like, okay, I need to weed down which ones are going to be kept and which ones are not going to be kept. And they were all just so inspiring. I was like, you know what? Let's just release the whole thing as a bonus library. Everybody gets to be a part of it. And hey, Tim. Tim Dale is one of the programmers from the ESC. He also has Sabersphere 2. OmniX is just incredible analog BPM patches for Omnisphere. A number of libraries at my site are made by him, so check those out. I should also point out, because it's going on for just until tomorrow night, there is a promo code that will save you 30%, 37%, which is higher than I usually go on sales at my website. So if you use Trick or Treat 37 when you check out, massive savings. If you belong to my newsletter, there's additional, if you go looking on the bundles, there's some bundles that are over 50% off. So if you need to get like a handful of libraries and you want to save some pretty decent money, you can find the 20, the 9, the 6, and the combination of violin, viola, and cello are all discounted heavier than normal. I've lowered the prices to make it so the 37% off gets it to be like 50% off the retail for those libraries. So if you want some inspiring patches, now's a good time to save some serious money. And I thank you for your business. Just great stuff. Cool. For this one, we gotta. These are the cheapest teeth on the planet. It keeps falling out of my mouth. I had to go to a dance and dance wearing these teeth. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Awesome. Nice. Good stuff. You guys rock. Just using the Wave Shaper. Another place to play with the clean sounds is the Wave Shaper. I love Wave Shapers. I was part of the voicing team for the Korg 01W, which is a workstation with Wave Shapers. And we had 32 something different wavetable shapes. There's some crazy stories I could tell you about that. We did part of the voicing after a music message show in Germany, in Marburg, Germany. And we worked at a hotel, and we had to, there was a tennis shoe convention going on at this hotel, some company. And so they didn't have enough rooms for everybody. And so myself and John Bowen had to spend the first night in this little auxiliary room that was also a shower stall. And it's just crazy. John Bowen plugged in a 110 volt computer into 222 volt, 220 volt, and blew the computer, which had the wavetables, which had to be reprogrammed in Japan. This is back before the internet, where we could like transfer files back and forth. This is back in the mid 90s, and we ended up, a lot of that voicing work was lost because the wavetables got blown up. There's so many crazy stories. We need to document all that stuff, but the best food at that little hotel we stayed at, though, man, they had this tomato soup that was just, So wavetables are really cool. If we go to just the straight sounds for a second, check this out. You can take a nice pure sound. And there's only 4 tables, unfortunately. I wish this was bigger or customizable or something like that, but it's a really cool kind of a character. And just by modulating this with velocity, we took all sorts of oboe, flute, things you would not expect to use wave shapers on in the O1W, and we put these wavetables on them and got them to have these really cool qualities. You get into bark and stuff. It sounds like FM almost, doesn't it? Because the wavetable makes the shape more complex. So typically 1 and 3 will work with everything, and you hear like a more clean version when it's at minimum. 2 and 4, you don't hear them so much because it's an amplitude, the shape. So it just depends, and 4 is even the most powerful one. Instead of velocity, if you want to have this be an LFO, it's really cool for... Why aren't you working? LFO to wave shaper depth. Oh, I think I've got this assigned to pitch too, so let's go over here and say unmodulate pitch. Okay, cool stuff like that. Can you blow hotels with a Korg? Yeah, we were, yeah. You still have your 03 RW. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I did a demo. I didn't do voicing on the 03, but I did do one. There's a jazz demo in the 03 RW that's from yours truly. Back in the day. There's so much. So 268 bonus patches. Spanning all sorts of applications and haunted houses. And what's fun with this, I do this sometimes. I like to say, oh, I like that patch, and this is GC. So you could go over here to the main, that is Klaus Graham. So go to author and go to Klaus Graham and see what else was programmed. And you'll find that there's similar kind of personalities a lot of times to the patches from someone, you know? So you can go to Clark Parker, here's his patches. And you will find a similar kind of, you can find threads and not, which is cool. Really nice. Or you say someone, everybody that you go to, now Subsonic Arts is Fred Nogat. I'm not gonna say your name right, Fred, I'm sorry. But he has his own company and sells libraries. So if you like these, go check out Subsonic Arts. Go through all these, each one of these, there's so many, like Kelly gave a ton of patches. Sometimes variations. I work that way sometimes, you know. So it's fun to compare and see what everybody's doing and compare with different authors and go down the list of just what one person committed and created, you know? I mean... And you'll find some people have a similar thing throughout and some people don't. But you can still find threads and interesting things and stuff like that. So check out everything. There's all of these programmers. It's just so awesome. You guys are very inspiring to work with. It's all a big collective. It's wonderful. All right, any questions? I'm gonna wrap up. Cool, Michael. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe hopefully. I don't know. I've got. I was hoping to go to Berlin or something next year for Super Booth, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. There's this wonderful thing called the tax man that I'm dealing with, and I'm not a very good businessman, so I love making this website and everything, but I got to get better control of the business side of things. When we do location shout-outs, here's an idea. Since there are people from all over the globe, put in the last live concert act that each of us saw. Oh, good idea. What was the last band that you guys saw? Let's see. For me, shout out from PDX, and I think the last one was Journey and Def Leppard. Def Leppard. Oh man, I would have loved to see Depeche Mode. That'd be great. Astitter from wow. Wow, lots of people sing Depeche Mode. I don't know if they're coming to the West Coast side or not. Oh, Armin, cool. Hawks. Wow. I'll have to look up on SoundCloud who Hawks is. That's great. Yeah, so shout out. Tell us what the last band you saw was. From Bavaria, Depeche Mode. Wow. 2017? Harold, you haven't been out in 2018 to see a show? Last saw Wild Asparagus. Contra Dance Band. Wow. Yeah. Right on, Steve. John, Hawks is fantastic. Okay. I'll definitely look him up. Hubert von Gosim. Wow. Cool. Cool names. Cool bands. So we can go back, look through this list. Everybody look them up. Germany, I saw Snarky Puppy. Oh, what a show that had to be. Snarky is just, they're crazy. No, I know you were in the hospital. Yes. I just didn't know if you were out and about a little bit, but yeah. Utopia. Kraftwerk in Athens. Wow. Yeah, Snarky Puppy is a show that sticks with you for a while. I saw earlier, just before the Journey show, I saw Al Di Meola, and Jordan Rudess played with him, which was great. He opened for him. It's great. Wales. Oh, yeah, Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's making some news with some of the things that they're saying. I saw them when they were here. Was that earlier this year? Earlier this year, end of last year, I saw Pink Floyd when they were here in Portland. Utopia in Seattle. Wow. Yeah, it's cool to hear all the different bands everybody's listening to and stuff like that. It's yeah. Snarky Puppy is really another. If you guys want somebody else that's equally mind blowing, I saw them like 2 years ago, year and a half ago, and that's what's their name? They'd have a new video that I posted here. Let me do this. You got it. Do a search for this video. Let me get to my feed here. And yeah, Lewis Cole and what's it called? Thinking, the live sesh. Search for it in YouTube. It is incredible. He's got a whole band, like big band, in the living room of his house. He's got the drummer upstairs, the another synth players in the kitchen. Just crazy stuff. And the band that he's a part of is Nowhere. That's another band you guys should know. Yeah, Nowhere. Check out Nowhere if you don't know this guy. Just incredible. Him and the girl that he works and travels with, they're both great musicians, keyboard players. Yes. Biggie, what'd he say? Yeah, Snarky Puppy, Biggie. Yeah. You should all come to my house. We do these things at my house where we have a device that does Bluetooth in the middle. And each person takes turns in going in a circle, taking over the Bluetooth to play a favorite song. And we would be up all night, my friends. We would be up all night. For sure. Nowhere's great. Yeah, and the Funky Knuckles, yeah, they're great. Great. All that stuff is really cool. Yeah, well, thank you for joining and hanging out. I will tell you this. I am working on a library for Alchemy in Logic Pro X, converting one of my libraries to Alchemy and doing some stuff to it. We're going to do a lot. In the next year, I'm going to be working on taking a lot of the libraries that I have created here in Omnisphere, and all the magic stuff, Mega Magics, are going to show up hopefully in Logic and Ableton and in places so you can load them into other sample players. Trying to get it so that there's more opportunity for other people to use the libraries if you don't own Omnisphere. So a lot of that's going to be going on. We've got the Retrosphere libraries to be working on. Airwave Volume 3 is around the corner. You guys are going to freak out when you see what this has to offer. It has some new territory that we haven't yet covered in Omnisphere that will be coming for Omnisphere. The ESC is working on a library. Robert Dudzik has just finished recording like a ton of drums and percussion for something really, really massively cool we're going to be doing. There's all sorts of cool stuff we're going on. Yeah, I have old Alchemy on a computer downstairs. But this will be for current Logic Pro X and Alchemy. So if you have the old Alchemy, it won't be working. Hey, Jim. Greetings. All right. Welcome to everybody, and thank you, and I'll see you later. But seriously, thank you for joining. It's awesome to do these live streams, and Big E, thank you for the suggestion of sharing music. That was a really nice thing to add to the shout outs. Really fun. All right, be well. If you're in the United States, please vote either early. I've already voted and mailed in, but please vote on Tuesday. Make your voice and your opinion heard. It's important we all, as Americans, it's the coolest right we are granted just by being an American citizen. So please vote. Whatever you believe, make it known, okay? All right, shout out, peace. See you next week.